The second and third phases are done, so now we gotta talk about the nitty-gritty details. We've got the list ready, and we gotta get all those people here. Tanchun and Liwan will tell everyone who's in charge of what. And hey, apart from the usual home expenses, you're free to do what you want with the extra cash. Now, about closing the year's accounts, Tanchun's thinking, what's the deal if we do it in the account room? It's like adding another layer of bosses, and they'll take their cut. The accounting department is really powerful, just like our finance crew here, ain't it? Super powerful. At a place like Fudan University, what do we professors and scholars call ourselves, right? So, when we finally snag some research bucks, who's running the show? The finance folks. And when it comes to claiming expenses, it's all in their hands. We take the receipts to them, and they make the calls. So, at the end of the year, before the winter break, the head of the finance department at Fudan University is the busiest person. Why? 'Cause all the departments want to wine and dine him. Yeah, now there are 8 regulations, but look, when he's invited to these dinners, is he just there for the food? Nah, he walks away with an envelope, and in there's gotta be a card worth around 2 to 3 grand. Those cards are given as a thank you for his help over the year, with a hope for his support for our philosophy department next year. The head of the finance department is a big shot. Anybody who's been at Fudan University will know about this guy called Stingy Joe, the former head of the finance department. This basically means the president doesn't know much about finance, right? If the president calls a meeting, and it's about the money stuff at Fudan University, the finance head needs to be there. Only if he says yes, stuff gets done. The finance department is really powerful, just like it was at the Jia family back in the day. It's explained clearly below. Now that we've brought this matter to attention, meaning we propose the reform measures, we've already taken the lead without consulting them and assigned you. They're upset but can't say anything. When you settle the year-end accounts, they won't have a chance to cause trouble for you. As you all know, in everything we manage throughout the year, our boss gets the lion's share, and they get half of that. The accounting department is no joke, and it's a well-known tradition in the family. As for the embezzlement and shady dealings that are still going on, what does shady dealings mean? Embezzlement. The embezzlement hasn't been accounted for yet. This garden is our project, and everything should not fall into their hands. It's best to bring in all the accounts to us each year. So, when we say us, who does it refer to? Currently, it refers to Tanchun, but who will it refer to in the future? Perhaps it will be Feng Jie. Baochai was like, I've got a better idea. Let's not bother with keeping track of expenses, it's just a hassle with some things in surplus and others running short. Instead, let's just find out who's in charge and let them take care of it. Basically, skip the money stuff and just take responsibility. So what expenses? It's just the usual stuff for the folks in the garden. I've sorted it out. It's only a few fixed costs like hair oil, makeup, incense, paper for the ladies, and a few maids. It's all routine. One person can handle it and be responsible for supplies. And then there's stuff like brooms, dustpans, and food for the birds, deer, and rabbits. They can handle those too. No need to worry about collecting money from the accounting office. Just figure out what's left. Yeah, it's a smart move. Now we don't have to dip into accounting funds for these items, which saves a bunch of money. The person managing the contract will handle these things. Just work out the remaining amount. Ping Air was like, check it out, even though these expenses seem small, when you add them all up for the year, we're saving about 400 taels of silver. And let me tell ya, Baochai was grinning from ear to ear and says, yeah, we're not just talking about saving 400 taels in a year, we're looking at 800 in 2 years. With that kind of dough, we could spruce up a few rental properties, maybe even snag some extra land. And don't forget, after all the hard work, they deserve a little extra for themselves. So Baochai is laying down some truth bombs for everyone to hear. By the way, is everyone here? We're all about being smart with our money, but we don't want to be Scrooges about it. Even if we only save 200 or 300 taels, it ain't worth losing sight of the bigger picture. So, by doing things this way, we could save 400 to 500 taels a year from the household accounts. It won't be too tough for them, and those who got the contracts will get a little extra. It'll make life easier for those dependent mothers, and the garden will be blooming with flowers and plants every year. Even you guys will get in on the benefits. With them handling these few things, you'll have your hair oil and makeup. This way, we're not missing out on the bigger picture. If all we're thinking about is cutting corners, we can still find a few extra coins here and there. Baochai dropped all that wisdom and then put forward a big idea. Now, with all these older mothers in the garden, if we only give to a few, the rest will definitely feel shortchanged. What's that mean? The ones who didn't get the contracts are gonna be feeling some type of way. Just handing them these few things is being a bit too generous. Besides that, it'd be best for each of them, whether they've got surplus or not, to chip in a certain amount each year. Once it's all together, we'll spread it among these mothers in the garden. They might not be dealing with these things directly, but they're always on duty in the garden, opening and closing gates, working dawn till dusk, rain or shine, tending to the needs of the young ladies, carrying chairs, rowing boats, and hauling ice sleds. All the rough work falls on them. They bust their backsides in the garden all year. And seeing as the garden's bringing in the dough, it's only right that they get a piece of the pie. As we're getting through this, it's bringing back memories of the first part of that political meeting, you know, where they were talking about all those deep thoughts and stuff. If we're just following that legalist path, we wouldn't even have to think about this. But let me tell you, Baochai was really pushing for some Confucian socialist moves, saying that even those who didn't score any contracting gigs should still get a piece of the action. That's the big idea. Hey, so you're all about that market economy, huh? But running a market economy means you gotta set some boundaries, right? You bring in some socialist measures to keep things in check. Those who missed out on the contracting deals should still get a little something from this whole shakeup. In the past few years, our philosophy department at Fudan University has been adapting to the needs of society and also trying to bring in some cash by starting traditional Chinese studies classes, you know? People attending these classes pay fees. So, we're hoping to see some profits by the end of the year, huh? We're definitely going to have a meeting before the winter break, and the big shots will surely gather as well. I vividly remember one year when I went to the professor's dining hall for lunch. It was quite late, around 12:30 p.m., and as I was finishing up my meal, I noticed that the entire leadership team was also there for lunch. At that time, our Dean Wu Xiaoming, was among them. I asked him, "Why are you all having lunch so late?" He said, "We're having a meeting." I was surprised and asked, what important topic could require such a long meeting? Oh, they would continue the meeting in the afternoon after lunch. I asked what the meeting was about, and he said, year-end bonuses discussion. They even brought their lunch to the meeting, you believe that? I felt awkward staying there. I thought, I'm not a regular at these meetings. I don't have the right to attend, right? So, I politely excused myself. Before leaving, I still had some doubts, so I asked our dean about the year-end bonuses, whether it was based on Tanchun's method or Tanchun plus Baochai. He replied, Tanchun plus Baochai. I said, that's good. It turns out he had also read Dream of the Red Chamber and understood my question. Then, at our last full staff meeting before the winter break, they made an announcement. We had done quite well in terms of generating income this year, and everyone was thrilled, right? Then came the distribution. The first announcement was, every single faculty and staff member would receive 3,000 yuan. There was applause all around. But of course, contributions varied, right? So, we were divided into several levels. People like me, who teach a bit more, would get a bit more. But for those who don't teach, well, they have their own challenges, right? A year of hard work, rowing boats, pulling ice beds, and performing all sorts of tough jobs, those were all their duties. For example, when we set up a class, they have to find professors, arrange classrooms, prepare materials for photocopying, buy books, take on the role of a class advisor, and so on, right? They handle all of that. It's only fair that they should get a share at the end of the year. So, everyone was in high spirits, and all's well that ends well. The differences in levels were also accepted in the end, right?